rocking his San Diego State hoodie. He's an Aztec for life. So today is Tuesday, and San Diego State played football on Friday of last week, on Friday night at 6 p.m. against San Jose State. Let me say this. If the game were in San Diego, it would be a non-factor, particularly this year because nobody's going to any of these games. If the game were at San Jose, it would be a non-factor game. No one would really have very much interest in it. But the fact that the game is being played in Carson at the Galaxy's stadium makes it even that much less attractive. Even though it's a Friday night and there's not a lot of football on, I'm telling you, Friday night, I started off, this last weekend, there was a high school football game that I was watching. Then I somehow got into the BYU Boise State game that we had talked about last week. San Diego State, San Jose State was on my main TV because it was on at 6 o'clock. So I was interested in it. Completely freaked out, by the way, Alex. I should send you this picture. You can put it up on the screen. Completely freaked out watching San Diego State play football on the Galaxy's home stadium. And you see San Diego State's logo at midfield. I just sent this to you. You might be able to put it up on the screen for everybody that's watching. To see San Diego State's logo at midfield and the San Diego State logos in the end zone, but to have the LA Galaxy logos in the background, it's just so bizarre to see. But what we haven't talked about, and I think deserves a few minutes of time, is the fact that San Diego State lost this game to San Jose State. San Jose State has been a drag on the Mountain West Conference. You've had Boise State, you've had San Diego State, at times you've had Fresno State. You need bottom feeders like UNLV and San Jose State and these kinds of schools to play decent enough so that games that are won actually have some form of meaning. San Diego State and San Jose State has been the difference in years past between Michigan and Appalachian State. Historically big, upset in college football. San Jose State and the Mountain West, they need this school. I don't know if you guys have ever been to this school at San Jose State. Listen, let me tell you, it's beautiful. And it's right there. San Jose, the city, is in Santa Clara where the 49ers play. I mean, it's a beautiful area. And San Jose State has a very strange stadium because it's like a half of a stadium. The other half looks like a high school stadium. One half looks like a major college football stadium. Bottom line is this. If you're San Diego State, you should never lose to a sorry program like San Jose State. San Jose State came into this game on Friday night 2-0. I had read a stat that was the first time they were 2-0 since 1987. 1987, dude. 2-0. Not 8-0. 2-0. San Diego State, for some reason, and I don't have a real analytical answer as to why it is. In the final analysis, because I was watching the game, I just felt like San Jose State wanted it more than San Diego State. I felt like San Diego State showed up like the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Dallas Cowboys. Like, they stink. We're good. We show up. We win. Well, sometimes it works and you have to make a late comeback and you escape with a win. And sometimes you get burned. And in this case, San Diego State got burned. Alex.
Yep.
San Jose State over your Aztecs?
Dude, this is when I was in college, San Diego State wasn't the Rocky Long powerhouse yet. They had good seasons, but they weren't very good. This loss reminded me of when San Diego State lost to Cal Poly, the D2 school back in the day. Like, that's how bad I took it. And I saw the show on Twitter trying to defend it. Carson Baker had a bad game. It's still early in the season. Dude, before you laugh at me for this comparison, Browner, just listen to what I'm about to say. This is in this division. If you want to be like this, like wannabe Pac-12 school where you claim victories over Stanford, which you have them. It's like if Bama lost to Vanderbilt. It should never happen. Ever happen. San Jose State and you know what makes it even worse? Is that this quarterback that transferred from Arkansas who had like 5 to 10 scouts at the game didn't even play. He got hurt. You lost to the backup quarterback. It should never, ever happen. San Diego State is a football program in the Mountain West. I see you're looking at me. No one can see you, Browner. in the Mountain West, San Diego State
Let's take a look at Browner.
San Diego State thinks they are like that school that Alabama is in the SEC, that Clemson is in the ACC.
Well, they're not.
Oh, when you said Bama, I didn't know you meant Alabama football. Come on, bro. What you doing? You could no.
Like I said, it's the same. If Vanderbilt beat Bama, that's how it should never happen. That's my point. It should never happen. You should never lose San Jose State. I don't care how good they are this year, especially when they lost the quarterback.
Bro, so can we just agree now the season's over?
I mean, it wasn't even a season to really. I mean, listen, if you're in the Mountain West and you're stuck only playing the Mountain West, you had no aspirations of anything bigger than the Idaho Potato Bowl. Like you lost. Unfortunately, you lost all the Pac-12 games on your schedule. You lost your trip to the Rose Bowl. You lost like all the things that even try and elevate you as to a ranked school.
But so let me ask you a question. The one thing you have is at the end of the year, December 12th, you've got BYU, and that might turn into a big deal. I mean, however big a deal it could be.
When the season ended last year, weren't they ranked? San Diego State.
I don't remember.
So my argument that I was going to try to make, if you ended the season 23, 24, 19, whatever the case may be, going into this year with COVID, where the Big Ten hadn't played a game, the Pac-12 are canceling games left and right. This was your window. If you go undefeated and at the end of the year, you actually beat BYU, which at that point probably would have been undefeated and highly ranked. That's your championship game. So you win that, you stay undefeated, you might get in the top 10. You get a New Year's Day bowl, and then after that, your program can start really going up if you whoever that dude is coaching them right now who quit on them the first time. But now you drop the first game, you drop the second game of the season to a nobody.
Third
to a nobody. It's over. It's over. At this point,
I agree with you. There's nothing that they can do. Even if they beat BYU by that point, like no one's looking at San Diego State anymore. They're not going to be ranked. There's nothing.
But you want to know something
about this conference? You cannot afford to lose a game. If you're the Alabama, if you're the Clemson of this division or of this conference, you cannot lose a game.
They're not, by the way. They're not the Alabama of the Mountain West. They're not the Clemson of the Mountain West. Boise State is the top program in the Mountain West Conference. Nationally speaking, they are the top program. Doesn't necessarily mean they're the best, just means that they have the highest profile.
The most recognizable.
San Diego State would come in as number 2 in the Mountain West Conference, but they're just not. The difference between Alabama and Vanderbilt is monstrous. And the difference between San Diego State and San Jose State should be, but it isn't anymore, apparently. And by the way, just speaking of BYU for a second, we talk about how they're ranked number 8 in the country and then San Diego State gets them at the end of the year. They've beaten nobody. They beat Navy. They've had to rebuild a schedule, BYU, because they don't have a conference. So they're playing Troy, Louisiana Tech, University of Texas, San Antonio. They beat Houston, Texas State, Western Kentucky, and they beat Boise. I mean, they beat the hell out of Boise. But still, BYU is playing nobody. Nobody.
In a COVID year, this is how you get yourself moved into the top 10 and get yourself in a conversation where you don't belong.
Well, until you lose to San Jose State.
Well, that's true. But at this point, I'm talking about Utah, and that's what would have made it a big game at the end of the year because they've been out here front running, playing puff cakes, and getting themselves ranked up so you can come and knock them down. But you didn't even survive to that point. So when does basketball start? Malachi Flynn might be a first-round pick, and I'm shocked by that. So big up to him.
I saw Lakers looking to draft Malachi Flynn, and I'm like, yes, please.
Malachi Flynn should send his first game check to Tyler Hero because that's how he's going to get drafted. Is he Tyler Hero? Probably not. But what Tyler Hero did opened the door for a guy like Malachi Flynn, who is a specialist who can simply shoot the basketball and may learn to do a couple of other things. Send your game check to Tyler Hero, bro, if you get drafted in the first round. That would be huge for San Diego State.
Yeah. Hey, listen, let me go back to this, though, for a second. So San Diego State loses to San Jose State, and it wasn't even something we talked about yesterday. And I'm just going to take a guess here that for a lot of people listening, they're like, really? I didn't know. I didn't know San Diego State lost to San Jose State. Hey, listen, I don't want to make too much of it because you guys, your point is right. I think that it's a COVID year and this college football season is just
trash.
It's just not what people had hoped it might be. But
USC's kicking off at 9 a.m. Like, come on. What are we doing here?
The USC kickoff at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning against Arizona State at the Coliseum. I actually thought that was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard. And then I woke up on Saturday morning and watched the game at 9 a.m. and thought, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Because as a player or as a coach, you don't want to be playing football at 9 o'clock in the morning. But on the other hand, as a viewer, you're like, wow, this is kind of cool. USC, Arizona State, 9 a.m. Wow, I kind of liked it.
And then it had an awesome ending. That helped.
Yeah, welcome to my life as a soccer fan. You wake up and you got some sports on right away, right in the morning. But still, it shouldn't be USC. It should be Ohio State. It should be East Coast teams playing at 9 a.m.
But if you're USC and if you're the Pac-12 and you're this late to the party, you're hoping that you can get some coverage back east because you're playing so early out west. But here's the thing. This game, San Diego State against San Jose State, didn't register for anybody because you had Saturday with USC and Arizona State. You had Notre Dame and Clemson. You had some really, exciting college football action. Michigan's in huge trouble, losing to Indiana. How about my Pitt Panthers coming back and beating up on Florida State? Not that that's anything special. The point is that San Diego State, it seemed like it happened so long ago. It was Friday. It was against San Jose State. It still just shocks me, Alex. I sent you the picture. I don't even know if you'll be able to put it up on the screen, but I took a picture of the game. Like, oh my God, there's nobody at the game. Why are they playing it there?
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Listen, I'll make a compelling case. You ready? Here's the case for why San Diego State should be playing in Carson. Okay, here's the case for why they should be. One, it's a really nice little football stadium, soccer stadium, and there's nobody in there. So what does it matter if they're playing here or there? Okay. Two, it's a grass field. San Diego State can put down on the grass field their logo and they can put their logos in the end zone, which means that even though there's nobody there, people who are watching on TV, the very few of us that watch San Diego State versus San Jose State on the CBS Sports Network, the very few of us that watch that game, we think it's a San Diego State home game because their logos are on the field. And because it's grass, you can get rid of those logos real quick and you can put the Galaxy stuff up. I don't even know if they're still playing or if their season's over. Alex, do you know?
Still playing.
Okay. So on a turf field, if they were playing at, some junior college, Southwestern Junior College, they can't just put down the San Diego State logo at midfield. They could do it at USD. I don't see any reason why they couldn't. Well, then you would make the argument, yeah, but from a TV perspective, USD is not set up to accommodate a CBS or an ESPN network telecast, whereas they are up at the stadium that the Galaxy call home. There are legit reasons why you would say it's good to play there, but it is weird. I mean, it's super strange. Welcome tonight to Carson, California at Dignity Sports Health Park here in LA, the home of the LA Galaxy, and tonight, the home of the San Diego State Aztecs, where they host the San Jose State Spartans. Think about that. Two mid-major schools from a mid-major conference playing not at either's hometown, but in the big city of LA, and San Jose State comes south and beats San Diego State. Very, very embarrassing. Now,
everything that you just said to qualify why you would try to explain why you understand, all those things could have been done here. They just could have been conversation with the network, a little conversation with CBS or ESPN, and you could have superimposed San Diego State in the end zone and San Diego State at the midfield. They do it all the time.
No,
I do it all the time.
I totally disagree. I'm going to totally disagree. I don't networks put ads on football fields. They don't superimpose team logos. And it's not their responsibility to do it. And I would just argue this. Qualcomm Stadium was a very difficult place to televise a football game in comparison to, say, what they have at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. The new stadiums are built for the new technology for television. The old stadiums were not. It was always a headache for the networks to broadcast at Qualcomm or at where the Raiders called home, the Coliseum. But it's a pleasure when they get to these new stadiums and everything is just plug and play. It would be very hard for a television network to go to Southwestern Community College or to go to USD where they're not set up to accommodate television trucks. They are in Carson. Doesn't mean that you're not right, John. I mean, they could have very easily have played these games. They could have very easily have televised these games, even without superimposing 50-yard line logos or end zones. They could have played these games in San Diego. What does it matter if there's nobody in the house where they played? I just find it really super bizarre. But let me ask you guys this question. Since you guys are down in North Park, when was the last time you've driven by Qualcomm Stadium?
Yesterday. I was going around that area, and it's happening. That's for sure. I mean, it is dug up, man. That parking lot is not a parking lot. It is a construction zone. It's really happening, dude.
Brown, you seen it lately?
I've not seen it in over like maybe a month.
Dude, I saw a video yesterday on Twitter. They're taking down the circular walkways at Qualcomm Stadium. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yep.
Dude, it's coming down. I mean, I don't know
when coming down.
Yeah, I don't know when the implosion is happening. Like, I don't know when the big part of it actually comes crumbling to the ground and smoke flies and they do a live implosion. I don't know when that happens. But, dude, they're taking this stadium down. And what's super weird about the whole thing is when San Diego State goes to LA, plays in Carson, loses to San Jose State under the radar. Most people don't even realize it. They're building a new stadium down there for a mid-major college football team. And the only thing that bothers me in all of it is that we could have had more and we chose to have less. San Diego State at the time of all this discussion about a new football stadium, man, were they bragging, we are an annual top 25 program. Not really. You were for a few years. And they kept saying, we don't want to play in a soccer stadium. We want to play in a football stadium. Yet the athletic director keeps showing up at all these soccer stadiums where the LAFC plays, where the LA Galaxy play. And now they're playing in one of these soccer stadiums. The unfortunate part is as the Chargers are now playing in the Rams stadium, and as San Diego State is getting a new football stadium built for their middle of the road, mid-major program, we could have had football and soccer in the exact same stadium, and we chose one or the other rather than both.
Because we don't think large in this town. You've been here long enough to know that, dude.
Man.
We're still trying to figure out Seaport Village. We're like, I think the Measure E is going to court to see if it's even valid to put a tall building there now. I mean, it's just like this town thinks so small, and at least we even got this done. I think the three of us are surprised that that's getting done.
I still am.
I know I am, and I mean, we can all make the jokes that we want to believe it when we see it. Just drive by, it's happening. So I just think this town it's just a small town mentality in a large ass city.
If the best thing that they get out of that stadium is that you can have Waterfront rename itself and have it there, or that you can do the other what was the other music festival that was here? Waterfront and Kaboo. If you can move those to that stadium and hold them in there and hold them around in the parking lot and surrounding areas, that's the best thing you can get out of that stadium at this point. Because ain't nobody gonna be going there for football. I hope that they can find an MLS team and put them in there. I hope that can work out at some point.
I mean, when you look at Dignity Health Sports Park, I think if you take out the bleacher seats, that's what they're building. They're building something that size that can technically be expanded, but most likely
will
never
not
will be. So that's what they're building. They're not building I mean, listen, anything's better than Qualcomm in my opinion, but they're not building some state-of-the-art, like dope, crazy SoFi looking thing, even at that size. They're just building a little 30,000 basic stadium. That's what we're getting.
Let me ask you a question. First year of this stadium, regardless of how good or not good San Diego State football is, San Diego State hosts San Jose State in their brand new football stadium. 33,000 people show up, yes or no?
Yes.
Depends.
The first game? Yes.
No. First year. And it's the third game of the season, and San Diego State's 2-0 and San Jose State's 2-0. 33,000 people show up in a San Diego State game in San Diego?
No.
When's the first year? This year, 2021? No, because it's not gonna be nobody there, but maybe.
All right, 2022, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
No.
I don't know. It's just hard to believe that San Diego State could lose to San Jose State in Dignity Health Sports Park, the home of the LA Galaxy. It's just the whole thing is bizarre. All right, stick around. Lots more to get to.